you got to remember, like, you're fucking Billie Eilish, like. Do you get what I mean? Like, because the reality of being you is that you're lit in real life, like.
Stormzy.
Billie. What's going on?
What's going on? How you doing?
Firstly, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. They said your name and I was like, please.
There we go, cool. So I met Billie at the 2020 Brit Awards. I probably had a couple to drink as well, so I was probably feeling a little bit confident. And it was, you are the fucking greatest. You're so hard, it don't even matter. I absolutely overwhelmed you and overloaded you with absolute, yeah, it was a lot.
No, you didn't. It was very cute to me because you ran over and started singing my songs.
I'm not just somebody's daughter, must have been a night.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
You're too hard, she's too hard.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful moment. You really came over and dissected shit. It was so specific and you really like honed in on certain parts of my songs, and that was so amazing to me because it really showed that you actually gave a shit. It was a very pleasant surprise.
Thank you. And then you put the picture up of us on your Instagram and I was like, bet hard. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was gassed. Yeah, Billie, so happier than ever, like, it's amazing. The second album's always this, like, well, for myself anyway, it was such a difficult task because it's like your spirit sometimes wants to stick to what you know, but then you want to venture out and like you're just trying to figure out, right, the world really loved me for everything I did the first time around, so how do I approach the second one? You can sometimes hear the growing pains, like, if you get what I mean, like, and even when I listen to my second album, especially where I'm at with my third, I can hear, oh, okay, you was figuring it out. Okay, you was trying to, you tried there and now you, whereas with this second one, it feels like you fucking just, you just smashed it out the park. Like, could you break down that song to me? Male Fantasy, before I tell you like my perspective, but I want to hear yours.
Yeah.
I
think it was like the second to last song that we wrote. Porn is just this, I mean, we don't have to talk about porn, but that's how the song started. It literally wouldn't have been written if it wasn't for porn. I don't know, I just couldn't stop thinking about the unrealistic and misogynistic and, you know, completely ridiculous world of porn and why the fuck any of it is the way that it is. We just started writing and it was completely all the truth. Like every single line was exactly what the situation was. At the time, I was really feeling these things and writing about them was really hard because I'm not used to that. You know, I'm used to writing about things I used to experience or somebody else experiences or things that I feel and think about other people's lives. Writing of that song was like the first time I've really like sat down and thought about exactly how I felt and just said it all. And it was hard and it was satisfying and it was revealing and it was violating and it was exposing and it was also incredibly cathartic and therapeutic. But there were times I had to like stop and like I was like, oh my God, I need to take a breath. Like this is a lot for me. But in the end, it's probably one of my favorite songs that I've ever written.
Okay. There's a few artists, yourself, Frank Ocean's one of them, a few rappers as well, like your Kendricks. But anytime you drop music, and as much as I want to listen to it, I need to see what you're saying as well. So I think that's the one I played the most because I was thinking, this is Billie's perspective in a way I've never heard it before.
So becoming an artist, why?
I was always MCing from young, like, so is MCing a British thing? Yeah, okay, so
like,
yeah, we call that, so rapping is what we call MCing over here, which is like, it's so difficult explaining MCing and grime. But yeah, I was MCing which is just rapping. I was doing that from that age 11 up till a big man, and then, yeah, that developed into me becoming a musician. It was a slow, gradual realization. A lot different to yours. Was Ocean Eyes your first song?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I put like 2 songs out before that were just on SoundCloud when I was 13.
So you made that when you was 13?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I know, it's really crazy.
That is ridiculous.
I don't know, the older I get, the more I'm like so weirded out that I was 13.
Yeah,
and then,
that is mental.
Signed when I was 14.
Mad.
It gives me the shivers. It's like so weird to me. Because I felt so old. I was like, I'm a grown up. And I just so was not. Oh my God.
What is the best advice you've ever received?
Somebody told me years ago, it was at this kind of really boiling hot moment. And it was a lot, and it was new to me, and I didn't really know what to do with it. And, you know, I don't really know if anyone does know what to do with it, but I really did not. And somebody told me that I can say no. So I really didn't know that, honestly. The reality is I don't think you actually want to, you know, because these opportunities get thrown in your face, and everybody says, you know, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's going to make you money. It's going to make you this. And it was just like destroying me. And that same person told me that it will fade and change. And it's not always going to be this intense. And I think that really helps too. Because we all, I think, feel like everything is permanent all the time. You know, we feel a certain way and we think that we're never going to feel any other way again. And that's really not true. You know, we change and we morph and we, you know, grow. And yeah, that's what I love about life, is just change, you know?
That's great advice.
What is the meaning of success to you, and what is the meaning of failure?
A lot of the time, I feel like people always think success is this thing where you have to sacrifice time. Like, oh, I'm success. Yeah, I'm getting into the money and I'm getting to my success, so I ain't got time to see no one. I ain't got time to do nothing. I'm like, that's not the idea of success that I like. I want to be able to see my mum. I want to be able to spend time with my nephews, and that's my idea of success now. Like balance, balance and time. Yeah. What's your idea of success?
I think that it's internal, and you do these things that are such a cool idea, and they pay a lot, or they're going to get you a big campaign, and then it's like, but if it's miserable, you know, is it worth it? For certain things, like if you really care about something and it's a lot of work and it's miserable in the process, but if it's going to make you happy after the fact, then I think that that's absolutely valid and worth it. But I think that, you know, why make yourself miserable? And you can also be successful at something and still feel like you failed. So I think it's really just about how you look at stuff, you know?
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I've felt like a failure a lot in my life. It's really easy to, when this many people are looking at you and telling you that you are one. You know, it's hard not to believe them, you know? And it's weird being a person that grew up with the internet just as much as the people that hate on me did. You know, I go on social media and these platforms for the same reason all these other people do. And then I come across videos about me and how I'm terrible and I suck and I'm this and it's so weird. It's like middle school kids talking shit about you, but instead it's with millions of people all over the world that don't know you or anything about you. It's very weird.
I'm a strong believer that like social media, it can really manipulate the psyche. Like it can kind of, gets in there and can kind of warp things. Like, how do you deal with that? Like just that element of being someone who people always have an opinion on. There's always, you do one thing and then there's this, and then how, like, I know that can be quite difficult.
It's, you know, it's really tough. I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with it. Because I like the internet. It makes me laugh, and I like memes and shit. And it's like, no matter what I do, I'm everywhere. Like I can't avoid myself. And it really makes me pity all the people that hate me because they can't avoid me either, I'm sure, you know? I don't want to see how, Billie Eilish fucking, you don't know shit about me, please. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to make music. That's what I wanted to do. Like, why is it more than that? Why can't it just be my art? Why does it have to be everything I do and say and look like and fucking feel and have an opinion on and this and that? It's like, what happened? I just wanted to make music. I didn't want this shit. I'm not a fucking role model. I'm a random girl and I like to sing. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that deep. It's like, it's really not. I don't know why it has to be such a big deal. Like, why can't it just be about the art and shut the fuck up about my life?
Yeah. I fully
You know what I
understand.
mean?
Yeah, fully. I'm not on social media anymore. I just deleted everything and came off of it.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. It felt very necessary, like, without even sounding like cocky or arrogant. Like, you're lit in real life. Like, that's what I had to remind myself. Like, in real life, I'm lit.
Yeah.
Like, it's love. It's love. Like you walk into the room, it's love. You see people, it's love. It's, yo, Billie, I love your new tune. Yo, Billie, that's sick. Like, yo, Storms, no. But then we get on the internet and it's some other shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm always like, yo, like, just believe the reality of who you are. Because the reality of who you are is fucking crazy and it's amazing and it's sick and it's so accomplished and it's so brilliant. To take it with a pinch of salt, which is easy to say for someone who's not on the internet, of course, but like, I remember like when I was there, it was like, sometimes you'll take something and it's like, well, hang on, like, this ain't even true. Like, my reality is that I'm a G, like, and I'm sick and all of this. So yeah, just remember you're fucking Billie Eilish, man. Don't ever like, do you know what I mean? People, yeah, man, people are trolls and whatnot, like, so yeah, man.
Oh my God. Best advice I ever got.
Yeah, man.
Do you think about how your music is gonna perform live when you're making it? Is that something that you think about?
That's a funny question because this time around with my album, I haven't considered live at all. Like, as in, and maybe that's because of COVID, maybe that's because I haven't been performing, but there was nothing, there's nothing about this album where I thought, oh, damn, you're gonna have to perform that live. Or like, and what does that mean? Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I've just kind of been dedicated this time around to like making something that's so honest and something that's like just my truth. Like, I feel like the best advice that I've ever got that I've managed to apply to this album was, all we can do as artists is tell our truth. That's all we can do. We can just tell our truth. And a lot of the time in the past, I used to think you dive into an album and you're trying to make it this and you're trying to make it that. And this time round, like, I'm like, all it can be is what's inside me. Do you know what I mean? So I've kind of taken the pressure off myself and I'm like, my truth should be enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My truth is what's got me here. Your truth is what's got you here. This is why people love you. This is why I have a career. Like, so it's like, whoever you are, whoever we was before, whoever we are now, our perspective, what we've been through, our memories, that's what matters, and that's that we ever need, to be fair. Without getting too deep, flipping out, that felt like a bit of a speech, innit? But yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Happier than ever, like, an album is so many different things and so many different layers to it that, like, trying to sum it up in one sentence is always like an injustice. But if you could try, like, if you could just, like, in terms of what this album's about and like what you hope for it to tell people.
Happier Than Ever, I think, just felt like such a perfect encapsulation of the last few years, and it also has so many meanings. It has a sarcasm to it because, you know, a lot of reasons, and it also is the truth, and it also doesn't mean happier than you're ever going to be and more than anyone's ever been. It just means happier than before. You know, it means doing better, you know, and I think that that's really how my life has been in the last few years and growing up and, like, changing and getting better, you know, as a person and mentally and creatively and vocally and all the things.
It's funny you talk about like the sarcasm. That's literally what I felt, especially with the title track.
Yeah.
I believe that you are happier than ever, but I also believe that you're not happier than ever because of details of that song. I heard the kind of sweet irony of it. How did you make it? Like, what's the process? What's the nitty gritty like?
The process was so good. It was so natural. Like it was the most, I think, organic process that I've ever had. And I think that that's because we started making this album like way before we needed to, you know, before like the label was like, you know, you guys got to make another album. We just made one. Like there wasn't, you know, people in our ear being like, hey, like, do this, do that, make this, you know. Our mom actually came up with the idea of making a schedule just because we had so much to do and you don't always put aside time for yourself. It wasn't easy. It was really difficult, obviously, but it was like we weren't even doing it. It was like something in the air was creating this project, and I couldn't have loved it more, honestly. There isn't one song that I'm like, ugh, wish we didn't put that out. Wish that wasn't on the album. I wish we hadn't at all, nothing. And then my favorite song, for a while, my favorite was Lost Cause. And then it changed to Male Fantasy. And then I think Oxytocin is one of my favorites. I also love Getting Older. I love Your Power. I love them all so much. Like, I could write a book about every single song because they're so important to me. The biggest insult that you can say to me is you make the same song over and over.
Yeah.
That's what I love so much about, you know, like older albums and artists like Kendrick and Childish Gambino and people that make albums that are a full piece of work and are cohesive but are really different. That's what I love about the Beatles, is that their music is it's such art. Like, the album itself is art. It's not just a bunch of songs put in a, you know, playlist. It's on its own, it's a piece of art. And I really, really appreciate that and strive for that. And lyrics there's nothing more important to me than lyrics.
I can hear that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that listening to a song without paying attention to the lyrics is like a disgrace. Obviously, I like songs that have bad lyrics or they're not very interesting, and that's fine. It's totally fine, but I just think that lyrics are so vitally important, and especially in this day and age, and I feel like people don't try as hard, and when people do try as hard, I really notice it, and I really, really appreciate it. So I hope that, you know, other people do too.
100%.
And you do. So
I think with everything you've said, like, trust me, it translates in your art. Like, I think, and I'm probably like away from cameras, away from like, for you to even like for an artist like myself to see an artist who's as iconic, a superstar, like all of those things, like popular, acclaimed, like critically, commercially, but to also just be so dedicated to your art and so dedicated to the music and so dedicated to the lyrics. That's what young artists should aspire to be, where it's like, I don't think you've sacrificed any of your like commercial success or with the music. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel, a lot of the time it feels like you have to sacrifice. You haven't done that. You've done it all on your own terms. Like, so credit to you, Billie, man. Like, I'm excited for you because the fact that you enjoyed the process so much, like, and now you get to kind of put your baby out into the world, man. Like, I'm excited for you. But when you reeled off your favorite songs, like, you missed out loads of my favorites, like Haley's Comet, that's Everybody Dies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, beautiful pieces of music, man. And the detail, that sometimes there might be something in it where you think, oh, did no one hear that? Or did you not get that line? No. And with, yeah. But even, hang on, I wrote a couple. And I just wanted to find out if they were deliberate or whether they just kind of happened. So on Everybody Dies, when you're singing that, I can hear every breath in between the takes. Did you keep that in? Because usually I guess the engineer would chop the breaths out, innit? Like.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love you. Oh my God. So it's a classic thing for, you know, an engineer or producer or anybody to like noise gate something where it's the line and then you don't hear any breath afterwards. You don't hear the breath for the next line. You don't hear anything. And, you know, there's so many things that are so like standard in music, like a standard way of editing vocals and a standard patch for the synth or the piano or the keyboard or anything. And, you know, even my brother, who's a producer and works with other artists and stuff now, he has a kind of an every time, like, he does it this way. And sometimes I'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I know that this is, like, the way that you're supposed to do it, but can we just leave all the breaths in? And can we leave the natural sounds that I make with my mouth and the sounds that you can hear when I bump my shirt and, like, you know, just the sounds of the room. And sometimes that doesn't work for a song, but sometimes it does. And what I love so much about Phineas, my brother, and I would love for you to talk to him because he is such a genius with this. And we're really similar in how we create. And, you know, it's not that we don't like the classic ways of doing things. It's just that you don't have to do them like that every single time. You know, my voice has changed so drastically since I started making music, and I have a lot more range now. When you're going through puberty, you only have kind of one voice. You know what I mean? You don't have much range. And I was going through puberty, making, you know, my first album and the music before that, and I can sing in ways that I used to not be able to. You know, I can hit notes that I didn't used to be able to hit, and it's so nice to have range. And, like, you know, something I love about Marina, you know, who I grew up listening to, and Lana, they just did crazy stuff with their voice, and they sounded different, completely different in different songs and different lyrics, and, like, with certain melodies, they would push, like, make their voice into this different sounding thing, and then and I loved that growing up. I thought that was so cool, and I just tried to kind of do all the things that I could that were possible for this.
You can hear it. You can hear it. It's an amazing album. Amazing
Thank
number.
you so much.
Yeah.
You're so sweet. Nobody is this, you know, complimentary and articulate about anything I do. So thank you so much. And you're an incredible artist who I have loved for, like, years and years. That I think my dad showed me your music years ago. But you're amazing, and you're an icon, and, you know, this has been amazing to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
I love you, and I hope the best for you, and, you know.
Thank you so much, Billie. I appreciate that. Keep being a testament for art and for artists, because you're Billie Eilish and you're a fucking G, man. Honestly. No, honestly, man.
Oi.